Hi, and welcome to the video training of JavaScript. In this video training, we will be learning about class static initialization blocks in JavaScript. So, class static initialization blocks are a special feature of a class that enable more flexible initialization of static properties that can be achieved using per field initialization. Static blocks allow statements to be evaluated during initialization, which allows initializations that, for example, include try-catch or set multiple fields from a single value. Initialization is performed in the context of the current class declaration with privileged access to private state. This means that static blocks can also be used to share information between classes with instance private fields and other classes or functions declared in the same scope, analogous to friend classes in C++. So let's look at this example. We have a class with the name class with static initialization block, and within that class I have static property 1 variable, and I have given it a string property 1. Then I have static property 2 variable, which is an empty variable. Then I have a static block, and in that static block I'm saying this dot static property 2 equals property 2. So when I'm going to console.log class with static initialization block dot static property 1, it gives me property 1. And when I'm typing in console.log class with static initialization block dot static property 2, it gives me property 2. So let's see this in action. If I go to projects JavaScript, let me create a new project called class static initialization. Okay, let me set the permissions. Okay, I'm going to use Sublime editor, static.html. Okay, here we are going to write our code in JavaScript, so we need a script tag, and I'm going to define class, and that is class with static initialization block, and in that block I have a static variable static property 1 equals property 1, and then I have another variable called static property 2, which is an empty variable, and in the static block right after the second variable I'm going to say this dot static property 2 equals property 2, and after our class I'm going to access the values of the upper class, which is class dot property static property 1, and again static property 2. So let's save this file, and now I'm going to run it in the browser so we can see the result. So if you open your developer console here and refresh the example, we see property 1 and property 2. So this is the result from there. You can also open the developer tools from here, more tools, developer tools, and more tools, developer tools, and go to console tab. Here you can see the result of the static block right here, and these are the static variables, and they can be accessed without creating the instance of a class. That is the feature of static variables or objects. Let's look at another example. We have a variable y, and I have stored a string outer y in that variable. Then I have a class A with static field inner y and a static block var y equals this dot field. Now if I go and say console.log y, I'll get outer y. Let's see this example in action. I'm going to comment this code so we can practice the second example. Yeah, just do it here. Var y equals outer y, and then we have class A, and then we have a static field, and it holds in string inner y, and then I have a static block. In that static block I'm going to declare variable y and give it a value, this dot field. This dot field means inner y. I think that's clear with you guys. Now if I console.log variable y, it should logically print this one, because this variable to reference this one I need to say a dot y, otherwise I cannot use this. So let's save this and go to our browser and refresh. You see I got outer dot y. To access the inner variable I need to type in a dot field or a dot y. Now if I say a dot field and I refresh the browser, I got inner y. You see here inner y. Now let's try to access a dot y, and I got undefined because this is saying this dot field and referencing y, and y have a local scope, it doesn't have a global scope, so that's why we got undefined. So that's how static variables and blocks work. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel, Weber. You can also contact me if you need any help.